Hi, I'm Jess, and welcome back to my channel, Hero Born Stitches. On this channel, we'll talk mostly about cross stitch, my cross stitch journey, my whips or works in progress. A little bit of knitting is going to sneak in today, maybe a little bit of book. I don't know, but it's really good to be back. It's been a minute since I've recorded, so thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Love to have you here. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for continuing to come back and put up with my craziness. So here I am. It has been a very long time since I recorded. I have been trying to record weekly for the most part, but life has thrown several curveballs at me. So we need to definitely do a life update. I also want to revisit my temperature stitching, my stitch along progress. There's some other things I am sure that we need to talk about that I cannot remember off the top of my head right now. I do have some interesting haul that maybe you saw on the cover. What is that? A thumbnail? That thumbnail thing? And also, I have reached another milestone since I last recorded, actually quite some time ago. So it is time for another giveaway. So be sure to stick around through all of that. First and foremost, let's start, I guess, with the life update. So after I recorded last time, I think I had a family coming in. And so they came in and spent the weekend, and that made it very, very difficult for me to record or get any stitching done, really, to speak of. Then I had a really busy week at work, and then I went to Colorado to see my daughter and her family. And that was a wonderful trip, an absolutely amazing trip. I love spending time with my granddaughters. They're amazing. The oldest one is completely obsessed right now with Taylor Swift's new album, as we all are. So we got to sing and dance and practice choreography a lot. So that was a ton of fun. She also really, they limit her screen time a fair amount. So she was really wanting to take screenshots of things. She'd have me look something up and she would like screenshot it. And then she would have me forward those to her moms so that they would know what she wanted. But we ended up having to limit it to like 10 screenshots at a time, or else she would have just spent all day on my phone screen doing screenshots. And I am a big screenshot fan myself too. I have more than I can ever even go through look through. My youngest granddaughter is 9, and I was not even in the door 5 minutes. And she said, "Hey, Mimi, let me see if I can get this right. What is the smallest number under a million with 192 factors?" Yeah, top of my head, I do not know that. And one of her moms jumped in to help. They were like, "Hey, Mimi just walked in the door. Let's not hit her with these questions right away. Let me look that up for you." So used good old AI, asked the question, came out with an answer, and my granddaughter looked at her mom and said, "That's wrong." I was just like, "What?" She's like, "No, that's wrong. That can't be right." And then she explained why it could not be right. And then she went back and like made some calculations and came back and said, "No, they put one too many zeros on it. This is the right answer." Yes, so that is very impressive. And she does like to say, I'm pretty impressive, aren't I? And yes, she very much is. And she does all of this without a calculator, which is crazy to me. I'm a math person. Crazy to me. And I also love that she will explain to you how she comes up with what she comes up with and how she gets to where she gets, all in her head, for the most part. And it's fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating. The next morning, she sat and told me one at a time what all the factors were, for that number. So, yeah, I love my time with my grandkids. It is also wonderfully exhausting. So I didn't get back until we made one little shopping trip, that I've got some stuff to show, just to this wonderful independent bookstore there in the Denver area. And I'll show you what I got. But then basically most of the day, Sunday, was driving back. Now, for people who do not live in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, or in the middle of nowhere, Midwest, they might not understand how far things are away. I feel very blessed to have my daughter and my daughter's family as close as I have them, but that means that they are a 5-hour drive away. Now, a 5-hour drive does not mean like city stop signs, going 20 or 40 or 50 miles an hour. It means going, I drive a little fast, 85 miles an hour on the highway for 5 hours, one direction, just to get there to see them. Yeah, we really kind of live in the middle of nowhere. So it was late Sunday by the time I got back. So I was super tired, which is to be expected, and ready to roll up on a new work week ahead, which was busy. Got through Monday. Monday was very busy. And Monday night, I got the chills. But you guys are learning way more about my life story than you want. So like, if you want, just go ahead and like skip forward to the stitching. So anyway, Monday night, I got the chills really, really bad. And I don't know if anyone else does that, but when I'm really tired, like overtired, I get the chills. Like there is no warming me up. I just start shaking like crazy. And I got that Monday night. But eventually I was able to get to sleep, and that was good. Woke up very tired on Tuesday, but I had a very busy day on Tuesday and some things that were really important that I could not miss. So I, got ready to go. I took some Tylenol in the morning on top of everything I normally took, just in case if I was getting sick. And of course, by around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I felt like I had been run over by a bus. I just felt awful. Unfortunately, I still had a 3 o'clock meeting and then a 6:30 meeting that evening that I had to go to. So I took some more medicine, tried to motor through, was miserable, absolutely miserable. By the time I got home Tuesday, I was again, I had called my husband. I was 100% sure I had the flu. I had called my husband and said, please go pick me up. COVID tests, flu tests, like all of these things, all of the things. So I can take them when I get home, because I am not well. I am really not well. So he did. I got home. I took them. They were negative. I've got the chills badly again. I take some more Tylenol. I go to bed, and I am intermittent up and down all night long, waking up either freezing or like I'm sweating the bed out. Like the sheets are wet. I'm sweating so badly. Kept on taking my temperature. Never had a temperature. I mean, it could have been because of the Tylenol and other things. I don't know. Called into work Wednesday, of course. Tried to stay in bed for the most part. Just extreme exhaustion. Couldn't do any stitching. And that was, okay, that was the thing that killed me about all of this. It's like, I'm home. I'm almost never home. I almost never have those big chunks of stitching time. So I am home and I feel so bad. I cannot even stitch. I can't do anything. I was just sleeping on and off all day long. It's like I would get up. It took forever to just get the energy to get out and use the bathroom. Get back to bed. I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't want to drink anything. I knew I was dehydrated. I kept on drinking as much water as I possibly could. But I was just tired. I just pretty much slept the whole day Wednesday and pretty much the whole day Thursday. Friday, I decided that I absolutely needed to go to the doctor. So I went into the walk-in clinic, explained what was going on. They couldn't find anything immediately wrong with me, but they did a bunch of lab work and suggested that I go to this place in town that you can get IVs. Now, is that just me? I find that to be the weirdest thing in the world. Maybe that's like Gen X right here, but that I can just go check myself into some place and get a bunch of IV fluid pumped in my arm. But I did. I followed the advice, and it made me feel a little bit better for a brief period of time. I was supposed to go pick up a new car the next day, and that was a 3.5 hour drive from where I live. My husband agreed to go with me because he knew I was not going to make it at that point. And I really thought about just putting it off. I just didn't know when else I would go get it. So yes, I went on Saturday to go get a new car in spite of all the sickness. Thank goodness my husband was there and he helped with the driving and the back and the forth and all of that. But while we were on our way to go pick up the new car, got a call from the walk-in clinic, and they were like, "Yeah, so you're really sick." And I'm like, "Yeah, tell me something I don't know." They're like, "No, you're really sick, like really sick." I won't get into all the blood work and all this stuff, but they're like, "How are you feeling?" Because they did give me some antibiotics. Not that they knew that I had anything. They were just almost just in case, just to try to get ahead of something. They're like, "How are you feeling?" And I'm like, "I'm not feeling great, but maybe a little bit better than yesterday." They're like, "Well, we want to make sure you go to the ER if you start feeling any worse at all, because you're really sick." I go, "Okay." They're like, "And you need to follow up with your primary care on Monday, blah, blah, blah." Got the car, got back, exhausted. I mean, that totally took it out of me for Sunday. Didn't go to work again on Monday, went in to see my doctor, spent hours getting lab work, like literally some of the lab work, most of the lab work was done after hours. And so the phlebotomist didn't have their normal trays and everything. So I had like 2 hands full of like test tubes. They were not really, but those things that catch the blood in. And they were like taking them out of my hand and putting them back in one at a time because they don't have enough places to keep them straight up. Lots of lab work. Sent me for a chest x-ray, which I was not able to get. Don't even get me started. On Monday night, back for more lab work on Tuesday, more lab work on Wednesday, more lab work on Thursday, couple doctor's appointments sprinkled in there. I don't think I had lab work on Friday, which is shocking. But long and short of it is like, nobody knows what's wrong with me. We have a long list of things that it isn't at this point. I am definitely feeling better than I was. I would not be able to record if I was feeling as poorly as I was beforehand. But we don't know. We just don't know. And I won't go into all the details of the blood work because it's crazy. But long list of things that it isn't. Really don't know what it is. I'm on a second antibiotic, even though my blood cultures are coming back negative and that there's no bacteria. I don't know. Nobody knows. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So yeah, big life update there. So anyway, over the week, I was able to get some stitching done. Very little. Some days I got a couple hundred stitches done. Other days I literally sat down at the end of the day and went, yeah, I got 3 French knots done. That was my accomplishment today. And I hate French knots and I'm really not good at them. If you're doing a lot of them in a row, maybe I can get there. But yeah, 3 French knots. And because I was so far behind from before, because I'm really good at overextending myself and then really not being able to stitch for 2 weekends in a row and then having busy weeks, I am woefully behind all of my projects. Woefully behind. Super, super mad stubborn, though. You guys know that about me. And I have lists. I have lists of absolutely everything that I still need to do to get caught up. I don't know how realistic that is. Okay, I say that, but I think it's more realistic. You guys are going to tell me I'm crazy. I think it's more realistic than than it looks like on paper, because several of these things are like wrapping up. And so they're not going to be adding new things onto my list. So as I start to get caught up, there's not going to be new things to replace the old things. Right now, the list is really, really super long. I've been watching a lot of FlossTube, and Jen, the caffeinated crafter, of course, has this huge list of things to do all the time. And she always says, hey, no, if I don't get to it, no big deal. We're just going to wipe it out. But then she always seems to get to it. And even if she doesn't, she usually doesn't wipe it out. And she's like, it's cross stitch. It's not a big deal. And that's really kind of how I feel. I will, like, I won't even pretend that I'm going to wipe it out. I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to keep it there on my list and keep working through it. And eventually one of these days I might end up getting caught up. So yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on with my life. That being said, I do not have a ton of stitching to show you. I do have some, though. I do have some temperature stitching updates. I have an update on the SAL I'm working on, a round robin update, some Great British Bake Off stitching updates, some gridiron grind stitching, a fair amount of haul, because does anyone else do this? When I can't stitch, I just shop. and I have done a fair amount of that. And I will tell you right now, there's more than I have. I have done more shopping than there is sitting in this room with me, because it is not all here yet, but I will show you what is here. Anyway. Okay. So let's start with the temperature stitching. Seems like a good place to start. I am woefully behind on temperature stitching. I have been recording all of the things that I need to do religiously, so I know exactly what it is I need to do. But most of it, a large part, like I think I'm like a month or almost a full month behind on temperature stitching, at least 3 weeks. One thing that did come up that I did work on a little bit is Everybody's Birds. The most recent SAL with Lola Crow. This is where it was last time you saw it. This is what it will look like when it's all finished. I guess I'll have to probably pull that. I think you guys know what it looks like. Everyone did this SAL. And then I think this only came up in the temperature stitching that I have completed. It only came up once. So what I did is I just continued, figure out my directions here, continued the 310 up here with these two birds up there in that nest. I think I have all the 310 done for this latest release, for this latest feature. I do tend to do that when I'm working through the features. I do tend to kind of pick the color that has the greatest number of stitches, and I start there and I work my way down. As long as it's a color that I can attach to something and count over relatively easily without doing what I call heroic counting, I will follow that. And if not, I'll find something that will get me there. So wish this would have been called more, but it hasn't. This is just the called for DMCs on, I want to say, might just be a 28 count Lugana Stormy Night. I don't think it's vintage Stormy Night by Zweigart. But if I'm way off the bat, I'll try to pop something up here on the screen that tells you what it is. It's either 28 or 32. It's not that big. It's not that small. Clearly, a little bit of brain fuzz still. Yeah, so got a little bit of progress made on that. Super happy to make the progress that I did. On that, wish that that would get called more. The second piece of temperature stitching, which again, I think was only called once, was a log cabin. This is by Little House Needleworks, I believe. A series, there's 9 of them. Temperature stitching so far has just been this third one over here with the fox on it, the cute, cute, cute little fox. This is on, it feels like Witchell, some kind of beige. It might even, I don't think it's beautiful beige, but some kind of beige-ish linen. I'm sure it's 28 count looking at it. I ended up just doing the, I mean, again, probably black coffee, because this is all Classic Color Works. Just did the roof of that little cabin there. This little vignette is very close to being done. There are a couple trees. I need to put some snow. There's some snowflakes, but in large part, it's very close to being done. I think when it gets called again, and I know it has been called again, it should be getting finished. That little vignette should. So that piece was temperature stitching. And I am sure I put those things wherever. Wonderful kitten ornaments that'll look like this when it's totally done. It was like, looked like this the last time you saw it. Just did more back stitching on this little girl. I've got just the back stitching up through here, like a lot of pieces from the 90s, very back stitch heavy. So I've got some back stitching up around her little headdress, and then some in the dress to do. And then I'm done with the back stitching on this little kitten. And then I'm moving to the other little kitten that is almost all done and just needs back stitched. I'm going to finish that up before I take these out of the temperature stitching rotation. So this is, I think this was just a kit by Something Special, just white 14 count Aida and whatever floss it was that came with the kit. Another piece of temperature stitching. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember who this is by. Again, I'll try to pop that in below, is the October Sky sampler. This is something that I started forever ago and has been sitting in this very pathetic state of being unfinished for a lot of years. This only got called one day, I think, but I did decide to go ahead and take the solid border all the way around. So the border piece, except for the little zigzaggies, the Water Lilies floss has a border that's like zigzagged that go around this, as you can see, maybe from here. This is where it was last time you saw it, by the way. So not dramatic, but I did finish that border. I still have not gone and looked for the charms for this or my little Santa piece, which I need to do. You would think that that would be a good thing to do when you're sick, but I could do nothing. I mean, I could really do almost nothing. So yeah, so October Sky sampler. This I am going to finish too before it goes out of rotation for sure. There just is not that much left. I mean, come on. There's a bunch of satin stitch, border, and then those two little motifs. And you can see how little those are. Like, I do not have giant hands. Those are little. So those will not take me very long. And it has been called some, I believe. So hopefully we will get that going and finished up pretty soon. The biggest piece of temperature stitching, and what has kind of caught me on temperature stitching, is this piece, and I feel so silly about it because I substituted this in for GHI by the Prairie Schooler when it had its 10 times up. And because it is what I have been calling low-hanging fruit, it's this Elizabeth Burkham sampler from that Antique Sampler Needlework book. And I have not worked on this before, and I'm not even sure I have a good picture of it. If I do, I'll put it up. I don't know, the side? I don't know, what's better. So I had started this for my sister many, 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 many years ago. And have gotten down to this point, and I realized that I might not have enough room for everything, because there is a fair amount of stuff that's supposed to come after this line down here. So I did this alphabet on the bottom and realized that, yes, indeed, I was not going to have enough room. So it kind of went away in hibernation. It went away into the penalty box for a very long time. My plans right now are just to finish this over one alphabet down here. I think there's a couple little motifs, maybe at the end, and then figure out something just to put on the bottom. I'm going to look, but I know there's a saying, there's a whole saying. I don't think I'm going to do that saying, clearly. There's not enough room for it, but figure out what I'm going to do on the bottom to kind of make it look finished. And then I'm going to call it finished. This is a very, very old work in progress, whatever I'm saying. Pardon my hanging thread, but I'll be happy to get it done. This, the same week that those 4 projects were called, this was called 3 times. It has since been called more times than I can count. I have a really hard time believing with how much it has been called that if I had done all the stitches, it would already be done. I have that. I have the counts. I know what I'm doing. And if this gets finished out before all of those times it was called temperature-wise come up, I will just substitute something else in to finish off those rotations. But this is one of those that will absolutely be finished before it gets rotated out of temperature stitching. So kittens, at least 2 of them will. October Sky for sure. This for sure. There was one other one that I was looking at. I can't remember what it was, that I was just thinking I need to make sure that that is finished before I move on also. I'm looking at piles around me here. What is the easiest thing to go to next? Maybe stitch along. Okay. I have been doing the Holiday House Stitch Along by Satsuma Street. Absolutely adore this stitch along. It kills me that I'm behind on it because it is so stinking cute. The 4th part was released last weekend. 5th part, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4th part was released. There's out of 6. I've got the whole first part done. And I'm glad you can kind of see the sparkle today. That makes me very happy. And a good part of the second part done. I've done most of the frames. I have a little bit of fill-in to do on the swags and on this little swags in the bottom and the little bush down there. But basically I'm down to this tree, and it's this adorable white Christmas tree. Oh my gosh, look at those sparkles. I'm so happy that those are showing up. I'm trying different lighting, and I'm not sure I'm crazy about it, but we're going to go with it. It's showing sparkles, so that can't be too bad. So there's this adorable white Christmas tree with 2 little elves that are decorating it, and a ladder, and so good. I was trying to work on this when I was in Colorado, but that did not really happen very much. The 3rd piece is over here, and it's a couple of penguins, I think, ice skating. And then I think we come up top for the 4th piece a little bit. But like I said, there's 6 releases. I'm behind. I hate it when I get behind on stitch alongs, especially ones that I love as much as this. but I've been trying to like get things checked off my list. And so sometimes it ends up being things that have the least amount of work on them, or things that I'm the furthest behind on, just to try to get them gone. So I am doing this on Zweigart Raw Silver, 32 count with the called for DMC. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend this fabric to anyone who wants to do this stitch along. It is just perfect. I could not be happier with my choice of fabric here. It's just something I had laying around, and they give you some options for metallics in the stitch along. And I really had bought metallics with the intention of doing that, but then I forget about how much I hate working with metallics sometimes. And when I saw this, I went, hey, this is going to give me that nice sparkle without fighting with the metallics. And it just kind of makes the whole thing look very magical and very Christmassy. So super happy with that. So that is the only stitch along progress that I really have at this point. Let's see, where are we going next? I'm like literally, I have stuff spread all over the place that you cannot see because I'm trying to be good about remembering things. So I am participating in the round robin that Jason X Stitches is doing. There's a whole bunch of us. My group, the Night Owls, most amazing group of women. We are busily planning a retreat to go to together and all of those things. And they have been so kind and wonderful and supportive through all of my illness. We were originally supposed to exchange our projects at the end of October. And I think that still might happen. I definitely have some work to do on it. I'm not stressed about it though, because nobody is going to pressure me. They're going to give me all the grace that I need to get it done. And I don't know of a single one of us that is done at this point. I don't know, maybe someone is, and I just don't know it. But so what I was doing for our round robin was Winter Stars by Modern Folk Embroidery, which looks like this. I'm clearly doing a much different take on it. This is where it was last time you saw it. And so what I did is I kind of finished off that super cute little reindeer. I'm not doing the border on the other side of that because that is for one of my round robin mates to do. And then I started working towards the center motifs there. I am using Cottage Garden Threads, mistletoe, I believe, for this. And it's, like I said before, a very aggressively variegated thread. So it is looking very festive. So it looks like I'm woefully far behind, and I'm really not. There is a method to my madness, though. I do want to bring this across because I figured if each of us, I was trying to divide it into quarters evenly. So if each of us did like one set of the double border, and so I'm doing the one across the top and one of these diagonals and the motif that goes above it, and there's motifs all along those little diagonals also. One of the reindeer, because there's 4 reindeer, and then there are like an even number as you're going through like center motifs also. So I love working on this. It was really hard to not just work on this. And maybe I just need to make this a focus piece so I can get it done for the end of October, or close to the end of October, so I can kind of get it checked off. And I do absolutely adore working on it. And it goes much faster than I think that it is going to every time I pick it up. So hopefully you will be seeing this finished soon. At least my quarter finished, and we'll be able to exchange projects, and you'll get to see what some of my wonderful counterparts are working on here. Okay. Great British Bake Off. So woefully behind. As I am with everything, I could just say, I'm woefully behind in everything. So what I was trying to do was catch up the oldest stuff that I had to do. And I am sorry if I'm ruining things for people, spoiling. Quite frankly, I'm going back to probably like week 3 or 2 or something like that. So if you have not caught up, I'm sorry. Just like zoom ahead or like mute me so you can't see what I'm doing. So you don't know what I'm saying, as long as you can't read lips. Okay. Feeling a little slap happy, not gonna lie. Okay, so I had like 1,200 stitches to do on ornaments or smalls for Tom. And I think I had done some of those last time. The first one, the one I was working on was the Monster Mash. He really didn't have a little head. This is what he looked like last time. I think this is what he's going to look like. And when he's finished, I'll try to put those up there. I was able to get him finished. This was my 3 French knot day. And they really don't look too bad. There is one up top where it looks like his little eyeball, one of the little bat's eyeballs is like hanging very gruesomely. But I did get that done. So this is one of the Halloween roundabouts from last year from Stitching with the Housewives. I had shown you 2 that I had already finished in my finished objects that were not fully finished objects. So this gets to join those. There are 4 of them. Then there's also a bonus piece. They often do a bonus piece at the end. I still had stitches left. So I started on the 4th one, which is Black Cats and Spooky Bats, which should look like this. And you didn't see it last time because it was not even started. So you could see I still had a fair number of stitches to get there. Tom still is in the competition. He does have more stitches that I owe him. And part of me kind of considered just continuing on these until I got all of his stitches caught up. But we're like 2 episodes away from it being all done. And I don't want to do that. And then like, I don't know. I just don't want to do that. I would rather, because he's still in the competition, just keep those stitches and slowly start moving over to that. So got those done. The other big pieces that I needed to do for that, Puimon ended up like losing technical, I want to say 2 times in a row or something like that, and then getting eliminated. So her piece, I am actively trying to finish off the stitches for her piece. Her piece is that custom chart that Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs did for me from the poppies picture right there. I don't think I have a picture of it beforehand. I still have probably about 700 stitches to do. Hanging threads all over the place. I did decide to go ahead and continue doing the 2/1 on the 25 count easy grid. It is very thick, but I do like the coverage I'm getting. It just definitely feels like a little carpet there, which is very gratifying. It's crazy. I don't know how people chart these, and Poppies is an AI created design. And yeah, there's a lot of detail in it, but oh my gosh, there is so much confetti here and there. Now, I would say probably a good 70% of the piece is 939 because so much of it is. And if I'm just stitching the 939, I can get huge amounts of stitches done in very small periods of time. Because it's just block stitching. I don't have to think about it. But there are these like little speckles all over this place, and these poppies and these stems and these variations sometimes that pop in there. And a lot of times it's not any more than a few stitches here or there, but it's enough to stop you. So I sat down last night with the full intention of getting these stitches done by the time I recorded today. And I ended up getting 55 stitches done because I decided to eat my vegetables and go through and start filling in the places where I was missing 1 stitch, 2 stitches, trying to get those filled in. I still have a little bit of that to do. And then I might kind of work on maybe some of these hanging threads. But yeah, so poppies, have no idea who this is by because I cannot find an artist anywhere online. I just loved the piece, absolutely loved the piece. And this was my designated birthday start last year. And it's hard because I am in such a full coverage mood right now. I just want to work on all the full coverage all the time. And trying to get the other things done is a little bit tough. I shouldn't say that. I want to work on my modern folk embroidery piece for the round robin. I want to work on latitude, my long dong samplers piece, and I want to work on my full coverage. It's just so where my focus is right now. So trying to do other things is a little bit challenging, but so I will finish this up before I move on to future weeks. The other one that I need to do from that week is Star Baker, which was Jasmine. And let me just tell you, I owe that piece so many stitches. Like, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling, but I am not sure. There's been a week that Jasmine has not given me stitches to do. And sometimes a very large number of stitches to do. And her pieces begin, which I adore. So happy that her pieces begin because I'm going to get so much good work on it. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. And it's not digitized. So I get to like count. And I should probably just estimate. I don't know. I'm not. I'm a little bit too anal just to estimate and say, oh, I do 100 stitches an hour because I really think I do more than that. But then if I'm doing a lot of color changes, I do less than that. So it's first world problems, really. It really, really is. I think the last piece of stitching I have to talk about is gridiron grind. If you guys will remember last time I did a video, I was really, really, really wanting to start portals and really, really not feeling my piece for gridiron grind. Well, I went ahead and did it. Oh, can I jump back just a sec? I guess you couldn't stop me if you wanted to. So I'm just going to jump on back. So this was one of my finishes. This was my finish, right? This was my finish. And then this was one of my new starts. Yeah. Okay. Because I think I said something about finishes and new starts and all of that good stuff. Portals was my other new start. This is what I was doing for gridiron grind. And I do love this piece and I will finish it. I will. Actually, I just stuck it back into temperature stitching this morning. It's just, there's so much purple and gray. I was so not excited about what I was doing. And every time I sat down to pick it up, I was just like, oh, I just can't. I can't purple and gray anymore. Like this just weird like sky situation. I need something. So it kind of went away for a little while, but like I said, it's coming back. So I'll talk to you about that in plans. But I did start portals. If you guys are not familiar with portals, you've been living under a rock. This is what it looks like. 6 portals. It's by Rose Catherine Kahn, charted by Pain Free Crafts. It is enormous. Super expensive pattern, but the reason that it's so expensive is because you end up getting each of the 6 portals individually, and then you also get them charted together. So I loved the piece the moment I saw it, and just was having a really hard time convincing myself to do it, even though I ordered the fabric. I knew I was going to do it. I mean, you need a great big piece of fabric for this. It's like 1,208 by something. It's not a million stitches, but it's getting darn close. So, and then Jen, the caffeinated crafter, who's working on that also, she showed what she's doing, and she just did kind of scattered stitches across the top of each portal, just to kind of give her a base. And then she's doing, like, currently she's doing 300 stitches, trying to do 300 stitches a week on the portals, like moving from one to 6. So I loved that idea. That is really what I needed to get my head wrapped around starting it, because all I could think, because I'm an upper left start, and I just knew that I would just get bored. Like, I would be like, I am on the orange portal. I really want to be on the purple portal. What's going on here? And just with the way I work, I knew it would take me a very long time to get there. So the whole idea of going across the top and then being able to work down on whatever portal you wanted sounded fantastic. So that is what I started to do. Instead of just doing scattered stitches across the top, what I did was I identified 2 colors in each portal that in the top row of 10 stitches were present, and one a little bit more dominant than the other for sure. And I decided that I would just do everything along those top 10 row of stitches in that color. And so I started this for Gridiron Grind. Now, it's been weeks and weeks since I have been able to stitch on Gridiron Grind. So this is 1 week's worth of Gridiron Grind. This is portal 1 over here. Let me just show you how big this is. This is portal 1 over here, with the start of portal 2 over here. My rule to myself kind of was, I'm not going down below those top 10 rows, unless if there is just an odd stitch and nothing that is connecting to it underneath there. I think over here there were just a couple of very odd little stitches. I'm pretty sure it's over here. Yeah. And then it was discontinued. I left the threads hanging if we had more stuff going on down there. And just kind of went like that. So I've got my top row. I mean, the row is not done, just the 2 colors in the top row. The top 10 rows for portal 1 is done, and the second one is starting. So I have tons of weeks of Gridiron Grind to do, and the Chiefs have gotten their players back, and they're really giving me all sorts of points to stitch, like ridiculous points to stitch. So, and again, this has been really hard not to pick this up. I'm purposefully not making this my priority, just because I'm not. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in plans too. I'm sure I'll get in there and get it caught up, because I'm keeping track of everything. Mad stubborn. Like, you should see the list. I don't have boards because I don't. I'm just not a board person. I've got lists on my phone. Lord forbid. Maybe it'd be a good thing if I lost my phone at this piece. But I will say that one of the benefits of keeping the lists of all of my stitching that I am behind is that I am never lacking something to work on. Like, if I feel like full coverage, I have 3 now, probably now with temperature stitching, my switch, 4 different full coverage pieces I could pick up and work on. If I want something that I only have to do like 200 stitches on or 100 stitches on, and then I can knock it off my list, I've got those. If I've got things that I want to just focus on a project for a long time. I've got those. I've got tons of options, which is good, which is very, very good. Before I get into haul and all the craziness that I did, let's look at the fully finished object. I did finally get my fully finished object for September done. Really before the end of September. You guys just haven't seen me since then. And I did take that, where do I want to go? I did take that first cross stitch I had done, that Misty cross stitch with Fat Quarter Shop, years and years and years ago that I did that kind of got me back into cross stitch. Color and aesthetic really isn't my jam, but I had several people suggest that I needed to put on a project bag, and that just worked out great. It really did. It took me, and like I've shared with you guys, I have so much fabric that I don't know what to do with. But it really kind of took me a little while to find what fabric I wanted and I thought looked best around this. I had pulled out a lot of like darker things, some reds, some dark blues, because that is not black, that is a navy blue. Some more aquas, some greens, and everything just seemed to fight it a little bit. And then offhand, I was just like, maybe I need to go lighter. And as soon as I grabbed this one, I'm like, yeah, that works. And I did want to pull the red in though. So I put like a cute little red stripe in on the inside. And so, yeah, this is actually where my stitch along is living right now. I had to take it all out so it would not be all bulgy for you guys. But yeah, so I did get that done. So now I really need to identify a fully finished object for October, and it is the 25th. So that needs to happen sooner rather than later. I have no idea what that's going to be. I do have a lot to choose from. That is the only redeeming thing there is I've got a lot to choose from. I might make another project bag. Lord knows I have enough fabric. I might, if you guys go back and look at my finished objects from several videos ago, you will see a questionably appropriate one that has my daughter's name on it. That might be a good thing to do, because that is not going on the wall. That's just not going to happen. Okay, so we will leave that there. You guys get to be surprised next time with what I do with a fully finished object. I did start the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. Of course, that is a huge amount of knitting. Even when you're healthy, I can't keep up with it. Even when I'm healthy, with being sick, it certainly was not happening. I actually got more done on this when I was in Colorado than than anything else. So I'm going to preface this. I love Stephen West. Absolutely adore Stephen West. One of my favorite all-time designers, amazing human being. If he designs it, I will stitch it. I will knit it. I am all about it. I love that he's moving into socks. Lately, it's just been great. But he has done this thing the last couple mystery knit-alongs that is just killing me. It's killing me because I am a total process knitter. I am not at all. I'm a process stitcher. I'm a process quilter. I'm a process knitter. I am not at all concerned with product and getting the product done. I have to force myself to focus on finishes and getting things done, or else I will just be swimming in whips all the time. So the last two Mr. Stitch Alongs, he's done this thing where it's like you do the same thing over and over and over again. And I think last time it was at least 3 repeats of the same thing. And the very first clue, you're repeating the same thing, but it might have been 5. And this time it was 6. And My brain does not do that. I'm so excited for mystery stitch alongs. But my brain has a really hard time just doing this same thing 5 times in a row. So this is where this started with this little one right here. I think they're calling them scallops. And they have these welts on them. And I am capable of doing welts. They're not my favorite thing to do because they're kind of slow and fiddly. But I was so excited get up to this point. And I was just like, oh, I love this. It has brioche in it, which is like one of my favorite stitches to do. Tons of ends to weave in. We hate weaving in ends. Even with Weave and Steven, there's way too many ends to weave in here. So I get to the point, I'm like, yay, I'm so excited. And then it turned into, okay, so now that you've done one welt, make another welt. So you make 6 of them all together, 6, not welts, scallop. And so I changed it up a little bit instead of using, because I'm using some mohair with yellow here. I decided to not use the mohair with the yellow here and to switch a couple of the colors around. So I'm using kind of the OD green for the brioche and the little more turquoisey thing for these eyelets. So number 2, and then back to number 3, where I decided sometimes I'm going to use the mohair, sometimes I'm not. And I switched back to the original brioche colors. Yeah. So the way this works is that these are like little clamshells. And so we've got another scallop here, another one here, and then another one here. So I have to do something, and it doesn't take long to do them. It really doesn't. But I have to do something to keep my brain for wanting, my brain craves novelty and I need novelty. So I'm going to keep switching things up a little bit, like trying to make a pattern. But oh my gosh, like, and I will go weave in all these ends before I start the second clue. And the 4th clue has come out. So we are way behind. But I will weave in all these ends before I start the second clue, because there is nothing worse than being at the end of a Stephen West knitting project and have all of the ends still hanging out there, because then you're weaving in ends for a day and a half, which is not fun at all. The other thing that's like vexing me a little bit is I love circular needles. I always knit on circular needles. I love these Addy unicorn needles. And I've told you guys, I'm not a pink person, and I'm not, but I love the fact that they're pink. And then they're like, I don't know if you guys can see that. They're kind of got this little spiral on them. So they're grippy, but they're still slippery enough. I just love them. And I also really like a very long needle, especially when I get to the end of a project, because then I can spread it out and kind of see what's going on. But we needed 2 needles for this project because we needed a needle to carry stitches that we were not working with. And especially if you're doing the brioche option, if you've done any brioche knitting, you would understand that you need that spare needle. Just throwing that on the floor. So I ended up getting 2 60-centimeter long needles, not really knowing what we needed the second needle for, but knowing also that I like to knit with the 60 centimeters. So like when I was done with it, I knew I could start another project with it. Not that I have any yarn stash at all. Yeah. But now they're getting all twiggly put together. Gross. And so I'm like pulling needles. I'm like cleaning up my needle situation more often than not. I'll be very happy when I'm done with the scallops. I don't have to reserve stitches for things anymore. And I can just have one nice long needle to work off of. That will make me very happy. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. That is about all that I have to show, other than massive amounts of haul. I shouldn't say massive amounts. There really are not massive amounts, but more than there should be. Okay, so let's first talk about the sort of not stitching haul a little bit. The bookstore I went to, I think it's in Longmont, actually, Colorado. Cutest little independent bookstore, very witchy little bookstore, which was fantastic. Wonderful collection of books that I have not seen in bookstores anywhere else. And we don't have anywhere near enough brick and mortar bookstores, and to have this beautiful little independent bookstore in the middle of this super cute community. Yeah, I'm sold 100%. I'm not sure they were super comfortable with my granddaughters running around touching everything, but they were. And I picked up a number of things, but one of the things that I did pick up is this bag, and it's a bag. And my husband always laughs at me for how many bags I pick out. And because I always come home with a new bag constantly. He's like, and another bag. Yes, another bag. They all get put to use. So how can you not love this bag? Like, I saw it and I went, okay, yeah. So that's coming home with me, because the Shire to start with, second breakfast, and then second breakfast club. Oh yes. Yes. My youngest son, that is his favorite movie in the world, The Breakfast Club. And I saw it and it just made me like literally laugh out loud. So I had to get this bag. I am not sure. I would assume you can get this bag other places. If anyone is looking for one and is having trouble finding it, please, please, please just drop me a line. I will send you the name of the store. I am sure that they would be happy to ship something out to you, because it is just absolutely adorable. And it's a good quality bag too. It's canvas, and it's not like thin, cheap, crappy canvas or anything like that. But how good is that? Like, I could not leave that. There was no leaving that. It just wasn't going to happen. Other things I got at that store. So I got some tea, Earl Grey vanilla tea, that is Wuthering Heights tea, Litera tea. I haven't broken it open because I haven't felt well, but I really am excited to try it. I am an Earl Grey girl. Earl Grey anything, I am right there. Along those lines, I got a bergamot and cedar candle, and it smells absolutely amazing. Like, I'm getting all this little crap at this bookstore. I couldn't help. It's like, can you smell it? I wish you could smell it. It smells absolutely amazing. So got that. And a lot of their stuff is like local, I think. I got a little Taurus puzzle, because I am a Taurus. Anyone who knows me knows how well that really defines me and who I am. And it's just like, I love jigsaw puzzles, and it's a little Taurus jigsaw puzzle. I haven't broken it open to put it together yet. I don't even know how many pieces there are in it. I'm assuming it looks like what it looks like on the front, but they have them for all the different zodiac signs, and they were cheap as chips. They were just almost nothing. So that had to come home with me. I did get a book. I know nothing about this book. It's called The Witches at the End of the World. I read the back. It sounded pretty interesting. Had some relatively good reviews. Haven't started it yet. Not a thick book. I was just in a very witchy mood. It is October. And I got a little bookmark there, because they had all sorts of really cute little bookmarks too. So I got a new little bookmark to go in my new little book that I haven't started yet. When I read, I have a really hard time with audiobooks. I am so old. I like the paper. I like the opening and the closing and the putting a bookmark in. So I'm looking forward to starting this when I have enough energy to do that. And then this is one of my favorite little things I got there, and it was so cheap. But again, it just made me giggle. So this is just a little journal, but it's a ledger of perceived slights. And it's just blank, just little blank pages. And they had pens, and there were really nice pens too that you could use to write in your ledger of perceived slights. But it just made me laugh. I've seen things like this before, but it just actually looks like an old little ledger. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use it to keep track of perceived slights or use it to keep track of other things, or maybe just sit and admire it. I don't know, but good pen. We love a good pen, don't we? And cute, cute little journal thing there. Okay. So that's kind of the non-stitchy related haul that I got. So let's see. I will start out by saying I did not bring all of it in here with me because not all of it was worth bringing in here. I have a problem with Facebook Marketplace. Not gonna lie, I do. And every once in a while, I'll go like down these trails, and and they were throwing all this crafting stuff at me, and I kit out all my whips. And I've talked about that before. I mean, and that's even if it's DMC. I don't just keep a master set of DMC sitting next to me when I stitch because I'm not always stitching in the same place. I literally, like, if it has 200 colors of DMC, even though I've got those 200 colors in other projects, I will go buy 200 colors of DMC. And if one of them you need 12 skeins for, I will buy 12 skeins of it. And I will keep all of that together with that whip, with that project. Because if I don't have everything that I need, or fear that I do not have everything that I need for a project, when I sit down to do a project, it makes me not sit down and do the project. So I know it's bougie. I know it's privileged. I know all of that. I do recycle it. I don't throw it away. Like as soon as I'm done with something that uses my DMC, I go put it back and organize my DMC. And that is the place I pull out of first before I'll go buy anything. I do the same with Classic Colorworks. I do that. So yes, at any given point in time, I probably have at least 10 active skeins of 310. They're in different projects all over the place. And when I get done with one, I'll put it back. And then when I start something new, if I need 310, I'll just pull that out first. And if I run out of that 310, I'll go pull another 310 out of there. But it's my thing. Okay. It's just my thing. It's what I do. I don't need judgment. But so all of this floss kept on popping up on a Facebook Marketplace. And I'm not interested in buying any floss that is no name floss. Just not going to do it. I have thought about picking up some CXC because I know people who use that and they say good things about it. Like maybe a set, or maybe like for a full coverage piece that I'm doing, maybe just focus on that. I really want to build out Cosmo floss because I think I would like using that also. I do have silks. I do have a number of other things, but I am not interested in any like Walmart off-brand, Hobby Lobby off-brand embroidery floss. Not only have I read horrible things about it not being color fast, and that's horrifying, but it's just like everything I've read just says it isn't the quality. You're not going to get a result that you're happy with. So as they're throwing all of these thread listings, floss listings at me, my brain is going and I'm like, okay, so that would be good. If I could, like, I have a bag. So I have several things of DMC floss, as I'm sure you can imagine. Some of them are on floss drops. Some of them are bobbinated from when I used to bobbinate. And then I also have a bag, a pretty good sized bag full of DMC floss that is neither on floss drops or bobbinated. And I go floss drops, bobbinated. Boy, I'm just rambling. Sorry. You haven't heard from me in a month, so you're going to hear from me for like 2 hours. That isn't like bobbinated or on floss drops. I go there first, and if I don't have it there, then I'll go look through the bag to see if I have a skein in there. And if I don't, then I will shop for a skein. Anyway, so there were these skeins of floss. And I thought, well, if I could find some that were DMC, even if I didn't need them right now and I could get them at a good price, I could just kind of add them to my bag, and it just would make it more likely that I would have all the floss colors I needed to start something new, or at least minimize the ones that I needed to buy when I did that. So I thought that was a great idea. And there were two places, two listings specifically that said it was DMC. One said like her mother had passed away. She was selling all of these supplies. She's not a needlework person. She was selling all these supplies of her mother's. There was like tons of hoops. I'm not really a hoop person, but I figured I could use them for finishing things if I needed to. There was a big thing of Charles Craft linen, two or three things of like Charles Craft Ada. Not a big Ada person, but you never know. There are some projects that just work better on Ada. So I'm like, good, sounds good. She said there were two complete kits and you couldn't really see what there were. And then there was this big, like gallon-sized bag full of what she said were DMC floss. And I knew with the price, I knew I had to pay to have it shipped, but even with the shipping price, I knew that was worth it with the DMC floss. Like not looking at all the different hoops and the Ada and the cross stitch kits, which I couldn't even figure out what they were from the pictures. I was like, the floss alone is good. Paid her, she shipped it to me. I open it up. The kits aren't kits. No big deal. They're going to go to Goodwill. One is just nothing I'm interested in doing, and one is like halfway done by her mother. And I don't know, if my mom had passed away and left a project halfway done, I would probably finish it or try to find someone who would finish it. But it's not even very well done and not interested in that. Fabric was what the fabric was. Hoops were what the hoops were. The bag of floss. I looked and it was just like, wait a minute, this doesn't look like this is DMC. And so I took the whole thing and I like dumped it out in front of me and I started going through it. Out of this whole big like gallon Ziploc bag, there were 8 skeins of DMC floss. There were 3 skeins of JP Coats floss, which is acceptable. It's not DMC, but I might use it to fill in for something. Everything else is like weird Walmart, Hobby Lobby knockoff. I can't even remember the name of it. I want to say it's like Ivy or something. I don't know. I was beside myself. I was like, the only reason I bought this was because of this floss. This is terrible. And to make matters worse, I am not inherently a mean person. And I'm thinking, okay, her mother passed away. She probably didn't know. She probably didn't know. So I sent her a message and let her know the package got there. Everything was fine. Thank you. And I was like, so I just want to let you know for future reference that this is not DMC floss. Like there was a very small amount of DMC floss in there. Explained what type of floss it was, that there was a significant difference between the quality of the two. I said, I'm not complaining. I'm not asking for my money back. I just want to make you aware because there are stitchers who, if they received what I received, would be very upset with you. And I just want you to be able to avoid that confusion in the future. Like I had already given her a rating. I didn't go back and change my rating. I was just like, I'm just heads up, not what you said it was. I mean, it says very specifically on the thing, DMC floss. So she responded to me like almost immediately and was so rude. She said, I told you I'm not a needlework person. My mother was an avid needlework person and produced tons of beautiful pieces throughout her lifetime. And I'm thinking to myself at this point, not with that floss, she didn't. But anyway, um, and, uh, and then she said, um, it's Facebook Marketplace. You get what you get. Shut up about it. I was like, what? What? So I haven't gone back and changed my rating yet, but I think I just might. I mean, I've got a granddaughter who likes to make friendship bracelets. I'll like pass the floss along. It won't, or it'll go to Goodwill. I like it'll go someplace. Not that worried about it. Like really with shipping and everything, it was $25. So I was not that worried about it, but still I was like, come on, rude. And then I had ordered one other thing and where again, they said it was DMC floss. And um, I could see the I could see the color, like I could see the numbers on the color. And it looked like it was kind of missing one of the, like, you know how DMC has two labels, like a top and bottom. I could see that the colors and the colors were right and the colors matched the names on like what would be the big numbered bottom label. But the top one wasn't there. And I was, and it said it was DMC. And I'm like, okay, so I did some color checks and I was just like, yeah, that seems like that's right. Yeah, showed up. Not DMC. Like some other kind of weird, like weird something. I don't know what it is. So I just got burnt by all of that. So I'm no better off in the floss area than I was before, but that's okay. I'm never, ever, ever again ordering floss off of DMC Marketplace because apparently people like to lie to you. And like the second one, I didn't spend too much on either. I mean, it was really pretty minor, but still so irritating. Anyway, so I did not bring any of that haul in because it's not worth sharing. Like, you guys are not going to be excited, nor would I be, about seeing DMC Craft Ada or bad knockoff floss. So know that that happened too. Um, the first place that I got into trouble was I'm sitting in bed. I can't stitch. I don't have the energy to stitch, but I have the energy to shop. And so I got onto eBay and just started looking. Actually, I was looking for Riola's kits because Becca of Becca is Stitching is doing this beautiful Riola's kit, and she sent me down. Not personally, she didn't say, "Hey Jess, go get a Riola's kit," but she might as well have. But she sent me looking for them, and I found them up on Amazon, of course. But I have issues with Amazon, so I didn't really want to order them off of there. So I got on there really looking for Riola's kits. Um, did not end up buying a Riola's kit yet. Still kind of watching a few of them. But there were a couple other things that popped up that I wanted, and they were at a good price point. So I just went ahead and push the button. First thing is this Dimensions kit, the Charles Wysocki, Frederick the Literate. It was actually listed under something by Teresa Kogut, which I knew it wasn't. I knew what it was the moment I saw it, so I didn't know why it was listed incorrectly. But this was like half of the price, maybe because no one can find it because it's listed on Teresa Kogut, but of what I can find it on like Etsy. So yeah. So I got Frederick the Literate, Jen the Caffeinated Crafter, who I'm dropping her name constantly today. I watch other people, I promise you. She is working on this. I think it's one of her whips of shame. But I've always loved Charles Wysocki. I love his like pictorial, like landscape things. But I do love cats and I do love books. So I could not leave this for the price of it. And it's just, I think it's 14 count Ada. Yeah, 14 count Ada. all the floss dimensions kits. You know how dimensions kits go. So I'm completely unopened, ready to go. Not too bad at all. So got that. Really tempted to start it. Didn't let myself because I have so many other things I'm behind on. The other thing I got off of eBay, I can't put this together very well. It's this. So it is Moonlight. So Angel Moonlight by MKAL Designs. Something like that. I don't know. The picture was just so pretty. I could not resist. And again, not a bad price. So it's not digitized at all. It looks like I might be able to turn it into a PDF and get it into Pattern Keeper though. So I think I might try, because if not, this is going to be a bear. So this is the whole pattern, and it's on like all of the floss and 14 count white Aida. I think I need to change that out because look how dark. I'm just going to point the picture up here. Look how dark this is. Like, because it says 2/1 on 14 count white Aida. That is not going to give me the coverage I want. This is dark. So I'm not sure I want to go all the way to black, but I definitely want to go to like a gray or something. So, and I don't love stitching on Aida, but this is not really an heirloom piece. It's just pretty. So I probably will go with Aida, but just kind of looking for a darker Aida, maybe. Or maybe I'll go with like a black or a dark blue or something like that. And then just where I do have the light pieces, like the white, maybe just triple up on those or something. I don't know. So got that off of eBay. The other things that I bought. So there is a new series coming out by, oh my gosh. I don't think it's Country Cottage Needleworks. I don't know. It's a Christmas market series. It's going to be on this picture right there. I just don't have it in front of me. But it's coming out. The first one is coming out in November. Give me a series, give me cute little people, give me Christmas, and I'm there 100% of the time. So I signed up for that series, and that's all going to be coming. And then the recommended fabric was beautiful beige, 32 count. So I picked up a package of that, and you needed a great big package, whether you're doing them separately or together. And I'm going to do them all together. It's going to take a big piece, but I realized once I've got here, I've got this already. I have the exact same size piece. So I'm swimming in beautiful beige right now, but that's okay. I'm not mad at it. So I don't have any of those patterns yet, but those will be here. It starts in November. So I need the floss still. But that's coming. Stitching with the Housewives came out with their Christmas piece. I don't think I took a picture of this. I will and put it up there. Dear Santa. I think this was a chalkboard that Priscilla had done last year. I almost always pick up their Christmas pieces. See if I can get up there. You guys, if I put a picture up there, you guys saw it. I almost always do their Christmas pieces just because they are so vintage, fun Christmas, especially because my house is like all mid-century, except the room I'm sitting in. Yeah, it just works well. So I'm excited to get that started. I think I still have black Monaco I can use for this. If not, I'll just do it on Aida. They usually don't have any half stitches or quarter stitches or anything like that that make doing it on Aida difficult. So I got that. See, I'm thinking of all these things I didn't take pictures of. I did pick up, and now I took a picture of this one. This one. Praiseworthy Stitches. Simple Gifts Haunted. Very kind of Quaker-esque. It is, you can't really tell from this picture, but you can see that there is kind of some pumpkin color there, but there's also some purples in there. The little ghosts actually have metallics in there. May or may not. I'm not a blending filament fan, so I may or may not use those. But there was a good sale, and I thought I have not stitched anything by them before, and so very much in the Halloween mood. I picked that up. Waiting for the fabric to come in. I do have the floss for it already. Not sure if I'm starting it or not. And then the final kind of piece of, oh my gosh, I need to go lay down. Fall is croquet. I hope I'm saying that right. A go-go. Croquet. I don't know. The October sampler. I love this when this first came out. When the moment I saw it, it sold out really quick. I couldn't get it for a while. And when I could get it, I absolutely did. It's all DMC. So it's not going to be hard to source the floss for. They have it done on a Zweigert, just a natural Edinburgh linen. But I am afraid there are some colors, just looking at the DMC colors on here, but there are some of those colors that are going to blend a little too much. But as luck would have it, the Stitch Me sent out an email the other day of some ready to ship colors. And there was one I just thought it would look beautiful on. So that is on the way also to start this. So out of all, well, the full coverage is going to be hard not to start. It really is. This was probably the next hardest thing not to start. Might just have to start that. I don't know. So that is what I have. That is my haul, my big mess, my big everything. Plans, I guess, talk plans going forward. Of course, I want to try to get caught up. That seems unrealistic, and it's not going to happen in a short amount of time, but it will eventually happen because Great British Baking Show Bake Off has 2 more episodes, and then it's going to stop generating things for me to stitch. Andrew the Runner Stitcher, because I haven't done anything on my Whip into Shape challenge. Andrew the Runner Stitcher runs next weekend. His marathon is next weekend. So that's going to stop adding to it after a while. The Holiday House has 2 more installments. So that's going to stop adding to it after a while. Eventually Gridiron Grind is going to be done. We have a little bit longer to go on that. But as these things start falling off and not adding new things to my list, I think I'm going to start seeing some real progress with my list, provided my health holds out and nothing catastrophic happens and all of those things. I have just been so itching to start new things, and it's not realistic and it's not reasonable because I have such a variety of things I'm behind on with my list that I want to work on anyway. I just have that new start itch so badly. So I'm trying to figure something out there. I don't know. Kind of thinking about maybe just doing this massive start along. Friends of mine and FlossTubers that I watch, they're like, oh, 50 new starts. It's their 50th. They're turning 50 that year. And they're like 50 new starts for 50. Well, I'm past that to start with. And I don't think I could feel good about 50 new starts. But maybe they were really small. I definitely think I could loosen up a little bit and let myself get some things started. People say all the time, if it's not started, it's not going to get finished. And that is very true. But if it's started and I'm not working on it, I just feel guilty about it. And I feel like I'm neglecting it like it's my child, and because I neglect my children. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do there. So yeah, definitely looking at planning to get that stuff hopefully caught up. I am hopeful not to start any new like alongs or anything like before the end of the year. I just kind of want to focus on trying to get what I have I'm working on now, kind of, caught up and like in a more reasonable spot by the end of the year. Big exception to that is that new series, that Christmas Village, Christmas Marketplace, whatever it is. I will be starting that. Like I said, the first chart comes out in November, and I'm guessing a little bit mid to late November. And then we'll probably see one in December also. So I know that those will be added to the list. But other than that, just trying really not to start things. Like Jessie Marie does stuff, just started this new game. Like, I forget the name of it. It's like wonderfully nerdy and like role playing and rolling dice and whips or monsters and all of these things. And she's sitting there describing it. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Maybe in the future. I don't know. I just can't. I can't even think about that right now. Wonderful though. Go check it out. If you're a big old dork, like I'm a big old dork, go check it out. Yeah. So basically just trying not to do any of that. Hopefully get a little bit of knitting done, hopefully getting a little bit of quilting done too, although those probably are not going to be my priorities. Really focused on getting a fully finished object for October, and then just playing catch up on things and trying to get stuff organized from my haul that came in and figure out what I'm passing along and what I'm not. Longer term plans, I trying to keep them as open as possible. I know I want to do the new modern folk embroidery stitch along for 2026. 100% know I want to do that. I think I'm going to make that my New Year start. I have sent an email to Stewarts and Stitches because we share a birthday, which we discovered this year. About trying to plan maybe a mutual birthday start. So like trying to get that all lined out for the new year. I hope Grid and Grind is still going for me at that point. But other than that, like I am just trying to keep it open. I know I'll do WIPGO, but I'm just trying to keep it open because I like ping on too many things. I'll doing something, then something will come up and we're like, oh, squirrel. Let me go check that out. I ping on way too many things. So I don't want to sit down and make goals for all my whips. I don't want to make any kind of like big goals or commitments because I know throughout the year I will 100% without a doubt find things that I want to do. I know I'll do Great British Bake Off stitching again next year now that I know that that's a thing. And I don't know what else might come up that might strike my fancy. People are coming up with new things all the time because people are brilliant. So I just have to kind of keep it open. So that's really about it. The only thing I have left to talk about is the probably most exciting thing with all this boringness. And that is, like I told you guys last time I recorded, that when I got to 250 followers, I was going to do another giveaway. Well, I got there a number of weeks ago. I just haven't felt well enough to do the giveaway, to record. And actually, last time I looked, I was like significantly above that number. So we might have a couple little giveaways here for a while, for like the foreseeable future. I don't know. So what I would like to do is thank you guys by giving you guys an opportunity to win a $25 gift card to 123 Stitch. 123 Stitch seemed to be just a really good place to offer gift cards to, because they have a little bit of everything. I think everybody could find something there that they could use, that they would want. But like I said before, if there's any place else you guys want me to look at or consider, please let me know. I would be more than happy to do that. But for right now, it's going to be a $25 gift card to 123 Stitch, just to thank you guys for all your support. You know, I don't, this is my 10th video, and I was trying to do them weekly, and I know I haven't done them weekly consistently, but I'm sure I haven't even been doing them for 6 months. And I just really appreciate the love and the comments and the feedback. It just always makes me feel very, very good. And like I said, if you go back and watch old videos, there is a project I'd like to start. I do kind of need a critical mass of followers to make it make any sense. I'm still thinking about talking to other FlossTubers to try to get them involved with that also, because I don't think we can just wait for me to get to the critical mass. I appreciate all my followers, but I just don't think we can wait forever. But just to kind of induce people, to kind of keep people around, and hopefully me building that up a little bit also, I will probably be offering some relatively regular giveaways there to 123 Stitch. So $25 gift card to 123 Stitch. Rules are that you need to be 18, because I need to be able to get your email address and stuff to send it to you. We want to avoid all of those words that bring the bots and other people along, because really do want the gift card to go to a stitcher, not just some random person who is just out for free things. So if you are interested, if you are interested and you are not yet a follower, I would absolutely appreciate a follow and a like, but I'm not trying to blackmail you into following me. So I'm not going to go check any of that. But what you need to do is leave a comment below and use the word quarter, as in a 25-cent piece, as in quarter of a century, just for that 25, and use the word quarter in your comment someplace. Probably next Saturday, provided I'm recording next Saturday, Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to try to record. I will go ahead and just randomly draw and announce the winner at that time. So thank you. Thank you guys so much for putting up with my rambling. I've been really trying very hard not to stop this, as I'm sure you have noticed going through it, just because I'm not sure I have the energy to do any big editing. So thank you for spending your stitchy time with me. Please keep stitching. Good to see you all again. Good to connect with you again. And I hope to be here next week. Take care.